everywhere.
This is News Talk 93 FM, broadcasting from the University of the West Indies, Mona campus.
News Talk 93 FM. Real news. Real talk. Heard everywhere.
Keep calm. No anger. We're only talking ganja.
Mind penetration.
Expanding your mind. We're talking ganja.
Much more than just smoking. Illuminating your chakras. Body and soul food. Ganja Talk.
Science, farming, commerce, applications of this miracle plant.
Vision, vibration.
Ganja Talk.
Master.
Well, I say sweet to my brain, relaxing to my nerves. Keep me sailing at night when we hill for I and smoke them your herbs. Sweet to my brain, relaxing to my nerves. Keep me sailing at night when we hill for I and smoke them your herbs. Fireplace on throughout the night, Babylon I go down. Enter the voice and lift your praise. Come stack up the drum, open up your hands, judgment declare. Blaze up the chillum, sayonara is down and clear. Everybody welcome, good marijuana when we plant. And I give me the bun. Always part of the fun. It's the healing of the nation, and me that a dance on. Hail up the conquering lion. Sweet to my brain, relaxing to my nerves. Keep me sailing at night when me hail for I and smoke them your herbs. Sweet to my brain, relaxing to my nerves. Keep me sailing at night when me hail for I and smoke them your herbs.
I agree that all want me smoke. The highest me a place coming, I take no cold. I agree that all want me burn. Give me the raspberry push me coming off his stand firm. I agree that alone me smoke. The highest me a place coming, I take no coke. I agree that alone me burn. Give me the purpose of the come me off his stand firm. The herbs in all the morning that start me there. Place it in a me chalice when me counter red clear. I agree for the fun everybody display. In a every corner store for run the heat.
I'm smoking on the boom jar in my chalice on my Rizla, bring up on face Sizzler, because the drug we be smoking this weed ain't no joke.
Kushumpeng. It's a Kaya pulsation. Vibrating your soul, unlocking your wizzy. Seen eye.
Ganja Talk. Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie and Empress Menen. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Ganja Talk. I'm Jalani Naya with you, coming to you from News Talk 93 FM, located at the University of the West Indies. This evening we have, as usual, a program which brings ventilation on a subject that is of critical importance, ganja. We're giving you a different inflection today as we look at a strange bedfellow, let's put it that way. A product that has been much featured within the ganja industry, and by that we're talking about the tobacco or the use of what is called grabber in the recent times, especially with a grabber mania now across the land. We want to also look at some other things, and Dr. Kadamawi Knife will join us in a short while to help to bring ventilation to some of the issues we're bringing to you. And in looking at these issues, we naturally look at dancehall music, which has been a major source of argumentation for the usage of grabber. In fact, the glorification of grabber has become almost like a new genre of dancehall music. So tonight, as we give you our 5th episode of Ganja Talk, brings a critical reflection about an industry and the related offshoots, some of which we don't think is necessarily positive. This evening, we also say farewell to Simba, who has been our conceptualizer, production, developer, researcher, music selector, our strongman here from Barbados. Hopefully a little later in the program we can speak to him just a little about his impressions of being here and the work that he has contributed to. We also, as usual, bring you quality music selected to really enhance the issues that we're looking at. We thank our usual audience, those persons who have taken time out to comment on those programs that they've heard. We welcome all your feedback. Our text line is 899-7657. Feel free to send us your text messages and give us your comments as to what you'd like to hear or your feedback on what we're saying. So give thanks to be here once more with you to bring you Ganja Talk, another Monday evening, this time riding on the backside of the recently completed celebrations of His Imperial Majesty's visit to Jamaica, looking at the Golden Jubilee, and what a Golden Jubilee it has been. His Imperial Highness Prince Ermias and his family joined us in what has been a memorable celebration, starting at the airport on Thursday with a motorcade, seeing visits to a number of sites that His Majesty toured, along with special events at the Haile Selassie Secondary School, as well as the regional headquarters, where His Highness gave a really productive lecture on the state of education in Ethiopia, really reminiscent of what it is we as a people in Jamaica have experienced in trying to put our shoulders to the wheel in bringing development to our people. And then departing for Montego Bay for a really royal civic ceremony, really holding center stage in Sam Sharp Square on Sunday, bringing Montego Bay to a halt as hundreds of persons joined the Rastafari community, dignitaries, officials, lay people, man and people, all came out on Sunday in what I think is a really impacting show of force at this time as to the real character and significance of the Rastafari movement. A legacy of this, these 3-4 days, is 2 exhibitions. One exhibition which stands now in the Montego Bay Civic Center, and another exhibition running presently at the regional headquarters at the University of the West Indies. Both these tributes to the life character of His Majesty stands for those of you who might not have been able to participate in celebrations directly. You can come in and get a feeling of what I'm saying has been a really good show of energy, recognizing a major Pan-African moment 50 years after, inaugurating what we hope to be a sense of purpose, a sense of unity. How could I have forgotten the Islaful Isis at the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, a church which has seen issues with his congregation coming together to honor the significance of this visit. As the program goes on, we're going to share some interesting tidbits. We're joined by Ras Hayavi, who has recently returned from the United Nations, where himself and members of the Jamaican government made presentations. So, as usual, we have an action-packed program for you. Thanks for joining us once more. We have the usual team in here, hailing up Melissa, Antonian, Trajine, solid, I wouldn't call them the I-trees, but perhaps the I-trees of this time, bringing wonderful, essential support to the work that we're doing here. So thanks again, and stay tuned for this magazine, Ganja Talk.
Marshall I represent, why? For the ganja people, them, why? You can't tell by the scent. Whoa, I'm smoking on the boom jar in my chalice, I'm a Rizla, bring up on face Sizzler, because the drug we be smoking, this weed ain't no joke, it's the boom jar in my chalice, I'm a Rizla, bring up on face Sizzler, I say you know we be smoking, this herbs ain't no joke thing, this medical marijuana, it can cure your cataract, and I eat the cure for asthma as a matter of fact, meditation when my act, you couldn't get it from the crack, meditation from the crop, it coming straight from me.
Me lift the chalice till the smoke alarm goes so beep 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 beep. Me lift the chalice till the smoke alarm goes so beep 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 beep. Me lift the chalice till the smoke alarm goes so beep 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 beep. Me lift the chalice till the smoke alarm goes so beep beep. This ain't no fire. Don't call the brigade, sir. I grade we are blazer. Real mango ways. This ain't no fire. Don't call the brigade, sir. I grade we are blazer. True purple laser.
There has never been a war on drugs. In our history, we can only see an ongoing conflict amongst various drug users and producers. In ancient Mexico, the use of alcohol was punishable by death, while the ritualistic use of mescaline was highly worshipped. In 17th century Russia, tobacco smokers were threatened with mutilation or decapitation. Alcohol was legal. In Prussia, coffee drinking was prohibited to the lower classes. The use of tobacco and alcohol was legal.
Ganja Talk. Yeah, welcome back to Ganja Talk. I want to hail up our Ganja Talk family, our usual hardcore listeners in the Dapper HQ and Dapper affiliates across the nation. I want to also hail those listening outside of Jamaica, places like Barbados, Trinidad, Belize. Thanks for your consistent input and interest. And just returning to my mention of recently completed events at the university, for those who are not in the island, you can visit the African Heritage Foundation website to see some of the images and videos related to what has just happened. We want to hail up, in particular, the new president of the Africa Club, Shannon, and congratulate her having taken over office from Lisa Sutton, who not only constructed this vision but led it and has created an appropriate kind of succession. We like to see that, and we hail them both and offer them support. We want to hail Ras Ainity and hail them for their work with the Golden Throne production, their Catch-a-Fire activity. Inner City Dub, as usual, occurs tonight. This time it occurs or returns to the same venue it was in last week, which is the Community Center in Trenchtown. Wonderful vibration, and I think they recognize that, and they're giving us a seal up to this moment of the visit with their return of the dub, Inner City Dub, to that vibrant and very dynamic space. This week we look at tobacco, the next Jamaican gold, so to speak, one which has long been a part of the history of the region. With ganja now liberated, perhaps we will see some kind of transition. Tobacco is a known killer, and ganja, we're saying, is the healing of the nation. Thanks again. Ganja Talk continues.
What that them a do, and what that them a try, and what that them a sell, and what that them a buy, and what that them a do, and what that them a try. They magnify and hear me more than a bonafide. What that them a do, and what that them a try, what that them a sell, and what that them a buy, what that them a cook up, and what that them a fry and hear them never magnify. What that them burn up the fever in farmer. Don't make me drop in me llama. If you're not productive, we know why you're on the corner. In all this economical trauma, when them not care about grandpa and nana, and them not look on daddy and mama, and they use them future, them no honor. Me tell the farmer that you don't know. I don't want to be surrounded by woman.
Alkaline, I'm your representative, Kid Shot, aka the dancer.
In my life, I don't need no miserable woman for my wife, for my wife. After a hard day's work, I'm on for woman sit down. I jokes and relax and I burn me to love. Meditation levels up maximum. Here comes my woman larger than life. She's always complaining about everything, disturbing my mood with her senseless walk. I can't stop thinking about you, my angel. You're as pure as wine. I've been waiting a very long time for this moment of your royal time. Girl, there's so many things I wanna tell you, but I let my actions talk. Conversations with you bring me closer, and my destination is your heart. Woman, you're just perfect. And the rest of man love the way you work it. Be yourself, girl, you're just perfect. Pressure bust wife, love the way you work it. Larger than life. Through the years, I love you with a passion. Girl, no make the love get Russian. Me put ring on your finger like Saturn, in a different style and pattern. Woman, you bring me joy and full enough splendor. Girl, give me the love that we remember. The way me touch you so fragile and tender. Y'all, you feel it on the agenda.
The eyes have it at this Ganja energy, or third eye level, because this is where imagination, intuition, and insight reign supreme. The psychic tool of clairvoyance, or clear seeing, also originates in this Ganja energy. A clear Ganja energy is the catalyst that sparks creative genius by uniting the left and right brain hemispheres, thereby merging the intuitive, feeling brain and the rational thinking brain. And it is where the line between dreams and reality becomes blurred, as one embraces the concept that we all have the power to create the life of our dreams. Your self-image, or imagined self, is developed and perpetuated and can be changed with this Ganja energy depending on how you use your mind's eye to perceive your physical self, your qualities, and your characteristics. The choice is yours. You can see innumerable flaws, or you can simply see perfection. This is also where creative visualization and the formation of one's life visions come into play. Inspiration is the natural byproduct of the balanced Ganja energy, and people with balanced Ganja energy live inspired and inspiring lives. They are wise, discerning, perceptive, and imaginative individuals who believe in themselves and their abilities, because ultimately they rely on their inner voice to show them the way. They look outside the box for solutions to challenges. A unique sense of personal style and individualism frequently throws the spotlight on them, their work, their homes, or their passions. An overdeveloped and abused Ganja energy can be seen in know-it-all personality types. They are judgmental, inflexible, and pragmatic. They must see something in order to believe it, and they rarely, if ever, pay attention or follow their feelings or inner guidance. Their closed minds most likely will prevent them from seeing the bigger picture of their lives. People with an underdeveloped Ganja energy may be fearful of change, of standing out, or of being in the limelight. They may suffer from aimlessness, unclear thinking, or lack of concentration. They may be prone to follow the crowd or to go along just to get along, even when it is contrary to what they want or believe.
Ganja Talk.
Yeah, thank you, Tony-Ann. Looking at ganja energy. Ganja isn't something that one should take lightly. Energy changes based on how you use ganja. So you can be inspired, or you can get paro as well. Ones have to know what they're doing. We want to big up Canada for brazenly deciding that in 2017 the climate for ganja is going to change significantly with legal sales. Hopefully now that Canada has gone that way, we will see other big players determining how they also proceed with that, and perhaps even Jamaica, hoping to be one of the big players, will also play along. We're going to move into our ganja sacramental fact now.
They that sow in tears shall reap in joy.
There had always been a stream among the people of memory. We had not completely forgotten Africa.
And he that goeth forth weeping burn pressing seed.
If there is anything we contribute to Jamaica society, one of the major things is wisdom, to get them wise. Get the society wise. Know that you're black, know that you're African, know that you're suffering by colonialism or neo-colonialism or whatever.
Bringing the sheaves with him. 144,000 elected saints. Black women and children numberless at the sun of the seashore. Crying out, Selah!
Selassie Jah Rastafari.
Ganja, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. I am a ganja baby, a ganja lady. I love to burn, 'cause I love to learn. The weed opens up my mind, and I ain't blind. It's not a crime to blaze the marijuana. Blaze up the chalwa, the sensimilia. Blaze up the chalice, soon me be like ganja palace in a wonderland like the one Alice love the gun. Me friend them call me ganja lady. Smoking Zest, it's the best of maybe. Blazing every day, tell the ganja crazy. Ganja baby, baby. Me friend them call me ganja lady. Lady, it's the best of maybe. Blazing every day, tell me ganja crazy. The herb is so rare. If you have it in abundance, please come and share. Let the smoke go up to the air, cause we don't care. We have no fear to blaze the marijuana. Of the child will blaze the sentimental. Blaze up the kiki, love and she fat and sticky. She pretty and me love her straight to nitty gritty itty. I am a ganja baby. Sometime me friend them call me ganja lady. Smoking, smoking baby.
Ganja principles. The greatest sin, fear. The best day, today. The biggest fool, the boy who will not go to school. The greatest deceiver is one who deceives themselves. The greatest invention of the devil, war. The greatest secret of production, saving waste. The best work, what you like. The best play, work. The greatest comfort, the knowledge you have done your work well.
The history of tobacco is more than just a history of its cultivation for chewing or smoking. It represents a fascinating journey through changing tastes and fashions, variations in cultural status, and different stages of political and trading importance. It also takes in numerous other lesser-known uses. South American tribes, for example, use it as an insect repellent, and many early civilizations incorporated its use into sacred rites.
Ganja Talk is a radio forum for public education and dialogue about the ganja plant and its related industry. The program aims to facilitate national, regional, and international information exchange, exploring the cultures surrounding ganja, the decriminalization experience, and the varied uses and applications of this herb. Get involved in the dialogue. Follow on Facebook on the page Ganja Talk. Email ganjatalkblog@gmail.com or text 478-8976.
Ganja Talk. Make your radio turn television with telepathic communication. Live and direct on Ganja Talk.
The African Heritage Foundation is a collective of people that consists of Rastafari, experienced cultural practitioners, Pan-Africanists, community development activists, and other interested parties. This collective promotes economic empowerment in collaboration with the advancements of greater social development, education, and awareness of African consciousness. Where possible, the HF will assist in selected areas of social relief and will function as a support system for up-and-coming African cultural businesses and organizations. The Foundation aims to collaborate and develop working relationships with other collectives that have similar mandates. Ganja Talk is one such collaboration.
Keep calm, no anger. We're only talking ganja.
The program is Ganja Talk on News Talk 93 FM.
Ganja Talk.
Blood shedding more and more. I still get a fight though I'm living pure. See war and crime, let us collaborate. Mankind get vile, they have no love no more. Tell them till it's hard, yet them still ignore. Rastafari is life and of this I'm sure. Fire red flames hotter than before. Burn them complete from crust to core. Life seeds I sow. Bound dirty Babylon a berry. As cool as a breeze I apply.
Who am I to tell you what to think? That will be just like the people who try to enslave people's mind, you know? With doctrines. Everyone in a state of constantly becoming man, and within time and space, they might become more and more of themselves. And you don't think that you can go and convince people about anything, because if there's nothing inside that being upon which the words that you have put forward can connect, it just not going to connect. So they might have that within themselves before. And so when you become most of the time, it's just a reminder of the things that they have deep within themselves and it come to the front of them consciousness. And Rastafari has done that. See? So in Rastafari I say no to war and no to this and yes to life. And a lot of people are saying the same thing. Because the people already are thinking about these things. But sometimes you wait for a collective vibes to bring out what you actually think and things, you know? I think Rastafari has provided that kind of collective space where people can come and express what they must say, not just orally, but through them liberty.
Tobacco, or grabber, has been grown in Jamaica for as far back as anyone can tell. Much like Cuba, Jamaica has the perfect climate and soil conditions for rich, flavorful tobacco. But Jamaica has always been like the little brother of the Cuban cigar industry. Everybody knew it was there, but nobody really cared. They wanted the Cuban cigars. The Jamaican cigar industry was rather stagnant and didn't develop much in the early 1900s, but it all changed when the 1940s came around. A big boost to the Jamaican cigar industry came from the Second World War. During the colonial era, the British had developed a liking for tea, sugar, and most importantly, tobacco. So when the war broke out, money couldn't be spent outside the Commonwealth. Since Cuba was not a British colony, the Cuban cigar market dropped in a hurry. How could Cubans take advantage of this situation and sell their cigars? They jumped on a boat to Jamaica, which was a British colony, and started producing their cigars there. Eventually, most went home when the war was over, but the cigar-making tradition, the crops, and the infrastructure remained. That is how the modern tobacco industry in Jamaica got started.
Pops gone, go and charge you.
I'm gonna say, bush grabber and a charge me.
You see, Rose, why make you never call me? Where him there?
See him there?
Party, what kind of grabber that you selling? I'm not ready. The road twist them no good, papi telling. You not have red rose, no money spending. Hot grabber for the blaming. What kind of grabber that you selling? I'm not ready. The road twist them no good, papi telling. You not have red rose, no money spending. Hot grabber for the blaming.
That one here. Hot grabber, hot grabber, hot grabber. Hot grabber, hot grabber, hot grabber. Cut it up in the wheat, it badder.
Oh.
Hot grabber, hot grabber, hot grabber. Hot grabber, hot grabber, hot grabber. Me I run water, grab a tsunami. Me take two big puffy no charge it. Me float well like a wind upon me.
Me get a pound from Opachulani.
Roadblock, buck up on me.
turkey cup.
Wicked squaddy, smoke off the herb, then turn round, charge me for the hot grabber, hot grabber, hot grabber.
The crowd of the song like Samson. Don't follow me if it will hurt you. When you make them feel laugh off of you. Ha, 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 ha. We cut it up in the trees. All these melodies, the bush trees are the perfect remedy.
Hot grabber, hot grabber, hot grabber. Hot grabber, hot grabber, hot grabber.
Ganja fact.
Huron Indian myth has it that in ancient times, when the land was barren and the people were starving, the Great Spirit sent forth a woman to save humanity. As she traveled over the world, everywhere her right hand touched the soil, there grew potatoes. And everywhere her left hand touched the soil, there grew corn. And when the world was rich and fertile, she sat down and rested. When she arose, there grew tobacco.
Ganja fact. Yes, you're listening to Ganja Talk, interesting bits of information about tobacco used as a repellent by Native American Indians and seemingly emerging from the seated, well, it comes from the rear, it seems, in this fable told of the origins of tobacco. But yeah, Plano telling us about making them wise, and Knife telling us about sustainable development and collective space. We take a break and come back to Ganja Talk.
News Talk 93 FM. Heard everywhere.
The Students' Loan Bureau gives thousands of Jamaicans the opportunity to improve their lives. Now through an SLB Pays loan, parents, guardians, relatives, friends and employers can borrow up to $680,000 to assist tertiary students on their journey. For more information on SLB Pays and other loan products, visit our website at slbja.com or call us at 936-4416. The Students' Loan Bureau, financing higher education.
For Jamaica on News Talk 93 FM. So tune in every Thursday, 4:13 in the afternoon with Carolyn Cooper and T.N. Robinson. And you see if you don't get to listen then, catch it again. Every Saturday, 3:13 in the afternoon. Big things are going. A program will look on the things we are going in a Fubi country in a Fubi language.
This is News Talk 93 FM, broadcasting from the University of the West Indies, Mona campus.
News Talk 93 FM. Real news. Real talk. Heard everywhere.
Yeah, welcome back to Ganja Talk on News Talk 93 FM. We want to hail up those listening on Creme radio station in the Western Caribbean, Belize. Welcome them and hail up Sister Nana Yaya for the wonderful supportive work that she's been doing. All the brethren around the region, you know that this is our forum where we seek to bring us together on an issue, an important issue for the healing of the nation, likewise the healing of the region, Ganja, that is. We have online Ras Haya V, who wears many hats. Today, we're speaking to him in the context of a national delegate to an international forum, UNCTAD, I think it is. But he's going to join us shortly, and he can tell us a little more about his mission to the United Nations last week and what he perceives as some of the objectives achieved there. Ras Haya V, greetings.
Yes, greetings, Jalani. Rastafari, you know.
Aye, give thanks. You're doing the works as usual, Ras Haya V, and I know that
as usual.
Your voice is a little compromised because of the the amount of activity you've been, at the car.
Chanting and the talking,
Yeah, man. But we know that this is not just talk. So can you tell us a little about the mission you went on? I think there were government delegates along with yourself. Tell us how you got into that mission, what it was about, and what you think it might have done for us at this time.
Give thanks, Jalani, and greeting to the listeners, as usual, in the name of His Majesty, Haile Selassie, in the name of Empress Badera Menen, The mission was a mission to the United Nations, because the United Nations was having an event that they call UNGAS, United Nations General Assembly Special Session. This special session was dealing with the drug situation internationally, which include marijuana and other natural plants that have been used by different people's culture over the years. How I got into the position that I went there is that, one, the government was represented by the Foreign Minister, Camilla Johnson-Smith, and Dr. Cathy Ann Brown, Deputy Solicitor General. And there is a foundation that is founded by a woman, a Scottish woman called Beckley Foundation. These people, because I'm an advocacy, they have been interesting. For example, when they had Beckley Foundation conference in Negra last year, same time the Rastafari Roots Fest was going on, I was invited to speak. So obviously they were impressed with what I had to say. And we've been communicating. I have a daughter named Elena Hussey, who has been basically responsible for coordinating the group, which we term as civil society group, and that including the former Minister of Justice, Mark Golding, the Land of Civil Rights from the GLP with the former G2K, our sister named Vicky Harry Hansen, along with Elena herself. So basically we are the ones who left. But four of us left for New York, joined by a brother from Canada named Blaine, part of the company Tweed, and then we were also joined by law professor at Harvard, Professor Nesson, and his wife. So basically, that is how I got involved. The aim and objective of Iman wanting to go there is that there have been international conventions on drugs. For example, the 1961 convention. Mm-hmm. And it must be noted that in 1961, basically all African countries except Ethiopia, but a lot.
You were still in colonialism.
Independent about 1957. Look, most African countries, Latin American and Caribbean countries, were under direct colonial rule. So these countries had nothing to do with the 1961 convention. This 1961 convention was put together mainly by European people, our farmers, and maybe present colonizers. So therefore, it is important for Iman and the Rastaman, knowing that herb has been the avenue or the vehicle that has been used by the system, the Jamaican system specifically, to bring oppression, tyranny, and brutality on the Rastafari community. So it was important for I to go to the United Nations to hear other countries' views, and I've been saying to the Jamaican government, as far way up in last year, that the Jamaican government needs to align itself with countries who are thinking similarly in recognizing the rights of their people, their indigenous people, to use their natural plants in accordance to their tradition or how they used to practice it traditionally. And so that is one of the reasons I went. And I'm glad that I went because I heard exactly what I thought I would be hearing. coming from countries like Mexico, Peru, Colombia, Uruguay, even Canada, and other countries, Czechoslovakia.
So
sees it. These countries feel that, and their statement is that they recognize their people's natural plants like the coca plant, the peyote plant, and the mushroom, because they consider this plant as their spiritual plant.
So,
and in fact, this good discussion, very good discussion, took place amongst the third world countries with the intention to establish a coalition among themselves so that they can come to a decision in terms of how is it that they are going to approach this international drug policy.
So, Rasavi, I mean, I think I hear just in your last statement what I gather as a representation of a different caucus. You're saying we know that many of these legislations came in place when colonialism was rife, and now this special session on drugs was able to offer the third world indigenous conversations about their sacred plants an opportunity for networking and strengthening their voices. So
it offered them, Sarah Jalan, it offered them the opportunity to get together and discuss amongst themselves exactly how they intend to approach this, international drug policy. Naturally, as I know, the international drug war has been led by the United States of America, and they are now planting marijuana in a lot of states.
Yeah. Mexico, I know, has suffered badly given its, position to the United States and all of the things that have happened recently. Say a little about what you expect as a kind of outcome. We heard just this week or last week that Canada, as of 2017, is going to legalize sale. What are you anticipating based on the energy you picked up as a strategy moving forward at this moment?
Well, what I experienced there is that these countries seriously considering establishing a different convention.
Okay.
Right? And Jamaica as a country, because Israel went as far as to say that they have been manufacturing medicine from marijuana and that a lot of countries are calling on Israel to export these manufactured products to their countries. I am saying Jamaica is known for its ganja plant and its ganja usages over the years. The amendment took place last year, and it took place relating to the industry, and it took place relating to Rastafari from a sacramental point of view.
Rasavi, tell me something. In the discussions that you were a part of and the kind of conversations among Third World, did the adverse effect of ganja criminalization factor as a part of their concerns?
Yes, this was pointed out. This was pointed out on different occasions, Alan. And it was pointed out that not only marijuana in these people's country, but also the coca leaf.
Seen.
Right? That these countries, a lot of these youths have no alternative more than to resort to planting of what they call drugs.
Yeah.
Right? The poverty that these people experience was pointed out. And as such, even one of my statements to one of the biggest sessions of the UN, not the GA, not the General Assembly, but one of the very big sessions they had in a room, the term round table talk. But there were a lot of countries there that were represented. I spoke from a civil society point of view, coming from Jamaica. On the three of us on the floor, because you had the panel and you had the four speakers, only 3 individuals were asked to speak on the floor. One, an Australian, he was not there. So I spoke from a Jamaican civil society point of view. And I pointed out that there is no question that the imbalance that exists in the world is a leftover of slavery and colonialism. And that, from a Rastafari point of view, and I do not see the plant marijuana as a drug. And I see the coca plant, the poppy plant, and these other plants as natural plants, and that the imposition of European tradition and European ways upon non-European people has led to the stigmatization of indigenous people's culture. So, in reality, poverty alleviation was one of the topics that was discussed in order to quell or to lessen this drug smuggling. Also, what was pointed out is that there are over 600 what them call psychotropic drugs. Drugs that are being manufactured and being exported and imported into people's country.
Drugs and poison.
Now, and I know, sorry, Jalan, and I know that once these chemical things, synthetic drugs are being manufactured, it is going to cause a serious problem. So all these issues are really discussed on different countries.
Yeah, it seems as though, based on what is happening now, the potential for a serious third world caucus arising. You're saying a new convention is...
Yeah, that's what they are thinking about.
Yeah.
Because they know that these other conventions are not working in the interest and benefit of developing our third world country.
Ras Ivy, just in wrapping up, I want for you to give us a sense as to, based on what you're saying, the conversation is integrating itself with a conversation among indigenous peoples, and increasingly that language has been directed towards Rastafari. Just say a little for me as to how it is we constitute such a people and our liberty, etc. in your assessment.
Well, first, Zelani, there is what is known as the United Nations Draft Declaration on the rights of indigenous people. Rastafari coming out of Jamaica, Rastafari culture is indigenous to Jamaica. It was born here, bred here, and then went internationally. So therefore, those rights that have been drafted in that bill and as Rastafari are entitled to the enjoyment of those rights. And furthermore, it states at any time that the indigenous people's rights clash with state laws, then the indigenous people's rights should take precedence.
Okay.
So being Rastafari now, Jelani, it is I and I right, just like how the people of South America, it is their right to plant their coca leaf.
Yeah,
and utilize it, not to make crack cocaine, but to utilize it in their traditional way.
Well,
and I have that same right.
I want to ask you a perception question. Do you think the legislations that came into effect last year here are supportive of that right in terms of our usage of ganja?
No, I don't think it has gone far enough, Jelani.
Say more.
And that's what I was coming to. I don't think it has gone far enough, because in the first place, if you look at Rastafari from where you say a religious point of view, and that is how I is being classified. When you look at the church, the amendment didn't give I the right to plant marijuana and to market it even among Sinai culture.
See, so
you couldn't tell the Christian people not to manufacture and not to make their sacrament, bread and wine, become a merchandise. You couldn't tell them that. So how is it that the law would want to limit iron as Rastafari, that we can plant it, we can use it in the privacy of the place, but at the same time, we cannot use it as a form of economic upliftment among iron within the Rastafari community.
In your
so
mind,
I don't think it went far enough.
the denial of the trade is a major exclusion that the law has or made in that point. It hasn't given us the logic, because you're saying it's logical now that if these are parts of our livity, then it's certainly a part of our sustainable development.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And that is stated in the draft, the United Nations Draft Convention. It is stated in that Jalani. And I should have the right to plant marijuana and to utilize it economically in order to uplift and help uplift and myself from this poverty-stricken condition that the system had been able to use to keep an eye. Because it was marijuana, ganja that had been used to send so much of the virgin and sister to prison. So now that you're talking about legalizing and decriminalizing, you must know that the industrial aspect of marijuana from a CLA point of view should not go for INI as Rastafari. INI is an indigenous group and should have the right to self-determination using any natural product that can help to uplift INI from outer poverty.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the perception is that once we have access to smoke herb, we're good, which doesn't recognize that there are many ones within the community who have lived from the ability to provide this sacrament commercially, make it available, and therefore it's logical that this is the dispensing aspects of ganja we haven't even got into, and those are things that I suppose the legislation didn't also deal with, because we are parts of that dispensing.
Well, so quickly, Jalani, it is up to INI Rastafari to pressure the government in whatever way we can, to pressure the government, that the government recognize INI constitutional right where marijuana is concerned, and not care what INI say and do. I don't expect the government to just willingly or freely make INI right. I mean, available to INI to the point that we can enjoy it. We have to force these people's hands, Jalan. That is how I want to see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're nicely positioned, Ras IFV, and we want to just wrap up by saying, thank you for the consistent focus. It's been a long time in coming, and your own clarity has led for us a community that's not really as proactive as it needs to be. The Ungas assembly that you were able to contribute to demonstrates our relevance in this, and we know we had appropriate representation from you. So we just, hailing you. Final words, IFV, impressions of the visit celebration, 50 Golden Jubilee. I saw you on a number of occasions, heard you. Any quick comments about your...
Yeah, well, it was great, and at the Pickford Tabernacle, I was still talking about it. But what few things I didn't like, Jalani, and quickly, knowing that the prince came to the Rastafari community, but the way the situation was treated, as if he was visiting, he wasn't making a state visit then. Because a lot of things, Rastafari, at some point, was disrespected. Yes. But on another occasion, for example, at the University of West Indies, where Kelly, the dean of the Faculty of Sociology, spoke about Haile Selassie. I tell Jalani, I would like to get a copy of that speech.
Yes.
Because it shows that these individuals know who Haile Selassie is and the contribution that he has made to the upliftment and the liberation of African people all over the globe.
Seen. Well, you know, Russ, I agree with you. I heard the address, and I myself was quite pleased. And I think that this is part of the positive effect of this kind of celebration, that it forces those around us to dig deep, to really express that which is expected, the truth, you know, and I think that was part of what was represented through this visit. But I hear your dissatisfaction in a different way, though. Is that the sum total? The disrespect is repetitive. And that's something that we must ensure don't happen again, you know. And I know some of the instances you're talking about, because the prince came to us, and by extension we involved the state, and in a curious way, you know, at the nth hour the state seemed to have excluded important members of our community, and that is a consistent, disrespectful and unacceptable point of view. But Ivy, we're moving beyond our anticipated time with you, as usual.
Yeah,
good to talk to you, and thanks again for the great work.
Thanks for having me, man, you know?
Yes, sir, and thank you for joining us.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that was Ras Ivy, who has just returned from UNGA's special session of the United Nations General Assembly, looking at international drug industry. Drug, of course, as one of these terms that we who look at these plants as an important part of our pharmacopoeia would want to remove. We don't want that bad labeled drug. Drug is drugs and poison, as Plano would say, you know, aggregates that then put together synthetically to create dependence and destruction in the body. These plants are part of our natural, available resources for the healing of the nation. You're listening to Ganja Talk on News Talk 93 FM, and we're going to move from Ivy into our regular news feature.
This is Beanie Man. We're not start, but this is about the Ganja Talk. And this is the King of Dancehall representing for Ganja Talk. On my behalf, Ganja is the only talk. Zaga.
Ganja Talk.
I took a split this morning off the international. My brethren, I love it and I love it, man. The international. The span of my life is not above it, man. The international.
And in international news, Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto said on Tuesday he's open to the legalization of medical marijuana in Mexico and that his government would announce new measures in coming days. I am giving voice to those who have, in public forums, expressed the necessity of changing the regulatory framework to authorize the use of marijuana for medical and scientific purposes, Peña Nieto said in a speech at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Speaking at a special session where world leaders gathered to rethink global strategy in the war on drugs for the first time in 2 decades, Peña Nieto said drug use should be addressed as a public health problem and users should not be criminalized. Peña Nieto, who has traditionally been a vocal opponent of drug legalization, also called for a global shift in dealing with drug consumption while continuing to fight organized crime. We should be flexible to change that which has not yielded results, the paradigm based essentially in prohibitionism, the so-called war on drugs, which has not been able to limit production, trafficking, nor the global consumption of drugs, he said. Since a landmark Supreme Court decision late last year that paved the way for liberalization of Mexico's marijuana laws, support for medical marijuana has been growing. A senator from Peña Nieto's ruling Institutional Revolutionary Party told Reuters earlier this year that a bill permitting the use of medical marijuana should be approved by May. Late last year, Colombia approved the use of medical marijuana. Peña Nieto also said echoing sentiments by a senior government minister to Reuters last year that participants in Mexican government forums have advocated increasing the legal limits for personal ganja use. Pennsylvania is now the 24th state in the country to offer medical marijuana. Governor Wolf signed the bill into law at a ceremony at the Capitol Rotunda surrounded by advocates and lawmakers. Senate Bill 3 will allow doctors to prescribe marijuana to patients with qualifying conditions in pill, oil, ointment form, and a liquid form that can be vaporized and inhaled. Smoking will not be allowed. The medical conditions covered by the bill will include autism, cancer, Crohn's disease, HIV, Huntington's disease, multiple sclerosis, among other diseases. Patients will need to apply for a medical marijuana identification card and obtain a prescription from a registered doctor. The state will allow 50 medical marijuana dispensaries, with each allowed to have up to 3 locations. Patients will not be able to grow their own plants. The state's medical marijuana program is expected to take between 18 and 24 months to get up and running.
I took a split this morning off the international. My brethren, I love it and I love it, man, the international. The span of my life is not above it, man, the international.
Rastafari, Selassie the first. It's the uprising, and we love to steam our herbs around the fireplace. Yes, I'm inviting each and every one, positive one, to come and steam with the uprising around the fireplace. Rastafari, I up around the fireplace. Sit around the fireplace. Come around the fireplace and sip some steamers. I up around the fireplace. Sit around the fireplace. Come around the fireplace and sip some steamers. Feel this. What a sweet sensation. What a cool vibration coming from above, coming from out of Mount Zion. Steaming herbs from iration to the fullness of light, coming from above, coming from the conquering lion. I up around the fireplace, sit around the fireplace. Come around the fireplace and sip some steamers. I up around the fireplace. Sit around the fireplace. Come around the fireplace and sip some steamers.
Vision, vibration, Ganja Talk.
Yeah, welcome back to Ganja Talk on News Talk 93 FM. We promised to spend a little time with, I don't know if I should say, our guest production developer, program developer, Simba from Barbados. I just, as by way of intro, I met Simba a few months back in Barbados, and I was particularly impressed because we were at a Pan-African conference, and himself not being one of the registered participants but the regular participant, as these conferences are. Rastafari are a major interest group at these conferences. Rasimba was able to not only participate in the conference but provide wider reach. And this is really what impressed me, that he used himself as a satellite point to share information that he thought critical, not just summarizing the conference, but packaging day by day features of this major Pan-African moment so that his own networks could full participate, full joy, his own insights. Today we are always away from his return to his beloved Barbados after, I would say, a wonderful trot or tour of Jamaica, hopefully as productive as he would want to see, but certainly very satisfying. Simba, you've been here before, but this is really the journey that would have given you Jamaica in a serious way. Just take us through, your expectations, your impressions, the last 10 weeks, your, contribution here. How has it been for you?
Greetings and good night to Jamaica, Barbados, all the other territories that are listening in. As Jelani had said, we met in Barbados. I just want to give you a little further introduction into myself, but not into myself in particular. An organization that I'm a part of, I founded by, like I said, I'm a part of, called the African Heritage Foundation. You would have heard the promo on the show. What we do as a foundation is we provide support as part of our reparations effort, because we see that reparations start with self. And as you heard, we intend to work with other entities in developing reparative actions and plans of actions. And we tend to be, or we would like to be, more proactive than reactive. Out of that, we have come upon meeting Jelani, and we have come to Jamaica based on a production that we do called Pumping. A little background into Pumping is that in Barbados we have absolutely no Pan-African media. So the organization is trying to formulate something called street media, which is Afrocentric. Jelani came and we met, and I introduced him to Pumping, and he somehow thought that I would be good at producing a radio program, so here I am. So I hope I'm doing a good job. I was here for 10 weeks. I leave tomorrow, and I must say the 10 weeks was more than I anticipated and bargained for. Ganja Talk is, for me, I don't know if other people see the same way. It's a historic show. It's the first of its kind, it will go down in history, and in that way, people involved in it will also be, have a part in the history and the development of the advocacy and the eradication of the unjust ganja laws. I've been able to meet other entities, the African Club Africa, at least I don't want to call it wrong. You always score me for that. Club Africa, a group of young people here, students at the university, very proactive. Shannon, their new president, as Jelani would have said earlier, a lot of good ideas and ready to take the campus and Jamaica by storm. You'll be hearing from her. So,
in a sense, you're saying that the Africa Club is somewhat a natural kind of segue into the kind of work that you're seeking to do as well.
Yes, the foundation is based and focused on youth development. That is a major part of it, youth development, and a special focus on women, and particularly young women. Okay. So meeting the Club Africa, as you said, Lisa being the founder, and from what I see, a large percentage of the group are female, so it works, in terms of our mandate, So I have a pro-African entity within UE, female, so every, the whole gambit. So, and they're very willing and active and interested in working with the foundation. In fact, so much so that we're developing a mandate where members of the club will be automatic members of the foundation as we go forward.
Kind of getting into a regional penetration. You mentioned previously the media that you have been working through, Pumping, and my Jamaican mind hears a lot of things when you say that, but you mentioned also there's no Pan-African media, so I want you to say a little about that concept I remember you saying something like a cutting edge on CD type of thing.
Yeah, well, we have to be realistic and very practical in this time. You know, in a time of information, there is everything out there for us to get. You know, but we have to kind of know about it and want to read about it, want to hear about it. In Barbados, we have cultures, different cultures. Like the Van culture is a culture where a lot of dancehall music is played, and really and truly not a lot of positive music. My argument is that you don't have to go anywhere to find negativity within the media, but we are expected to go and search for, if you know we want something positive to read about and to take in, we have to go and search about it. So Pumping is designed as a CD, which we sell on the street for $3, which is $1.50 US. Almost the same price as a regular newspaper. It's done monthly, and we'll try to increase that as we grow. And we want to bring different information that you don't readily get on any of the other news forums, to especially the youth. So we want to have Pumping on the blocks, and we intend to do the same thing with Ganja Talk, because coming to the situation of ganja, which is why we're here, this radio program will never be allowed on the air in Barbados.
It will never be allowed. Yeah.
No, man.
Never. That's
half.
Where's your optimism, my brother?
In building, I mean, this is something that we have to work towards within the advocacy. Ganja Talk being done from the UE gives us a strong point to work from. So when I go home now, when you have Ganja Talk, and we're going to start pushing the advocacy on the education level. That's why I helped to build the show in the way that I did. So the perspective and the directions and the focuses that we use to advocate for the decriminalization and legalization of the plant, we would have a wide and a broad and a more solid foundation on which to fight the fight.
Simba, you probably can shed some grounded perspective as to what the ganja scene is like in Barbados. I know that, having passed through there, I get the impression that, it's a very expensive commodity with severe penalties. Just give me a sense as to, what is it like to use the herb in Barbados?
All right. As I listened to the show tonight, and I was thinking about going home tomorrow, being here with you, we would always make a joke about the ganja in Barbados, and you would tell me, when we don't have, you say, well, we have to do the Barbados thing, and it feels to me like I'm leaving a ganja heaven and going to ganja hell. So, the zero tolerance, it's not only zero tolerance, but it is 100% ignorance when it comes to how the ganja user is treated, a blatant lack of respect, and I can't say it enough, it comes from blatant ignorance, and that ignorance is perpetuated through the media, and then you have a more ignorant society in terms of not only ganja, a lot of things that affect us as a people, as African people, in our development. So Ganja Talk is one medium which I'm very glad for, and our job, and I hope that ones that listen to the program and are here in Barbados and hear the CDs or go online, encourage, get 2 or 3 CDs and give to people, and let us spread the word, and let us organize and take the lead from Jamaica and their proactiveness, and whether you smoke, whether you don't, whether the issue is way beyond that right now. It's a matter of justice. It is 10 years we have from the UN. Within their theme, it is recognition, justice, development, and some 4 things. But on the levels of recognition and development within this decade of recognition for people of African descent coming from the UN, I think that ganja is a main issue that we need to look at. And again, I give thanks for being here with you, Jelani.
But it's interesting. I know that Barbados, there's a strong tobacco culture there. I don't know if I can't recall if Barbados grows tobacco. What is the state? People grow herb? Is there a local sort of growth?
You can't stop the herb from growing. You know, Rastafari has taken hold of Barbados as everywhere else in the world, and with that, you will see the growing of the ganja. Not enough ganja is grown because of the terrain. We don't have any mountains. We basically flat. You know, we flat and small, right? So
enough access for everything. Yeah.
You know, but what we do have is a big import.
Okay.
Trade of ganja. You know, and a lot of it coming from St. Vincent. A lot of it from here. Here is a little more difficult. So we do have that, but because of that, the prices of ganja in Barbados are ridiculous. For Jamaican people, you know, like in Barbados, you know, to get a pound of Jamaican herb in Barbados can cost you like 25 to 3,000 US.
Okay.
An ounce of Jamaican herb, as you would have heard in a program previously, would cost you like 250 to 300 US. So saying that we don't have a chalice culture.
You mean
right?
when you say you don't have a chalice?
Afford a chalice culture.
You mean a man can't afford to put so much herb?
We can barely afford to have a spliff culture, right? It is so bad in terms of the amounts that we pay. We say that we buy the grabber of tobacco and we base it with the herb. We base it with the ganja.
Okay, so you're really having cigarette with a little blend of ganja.
With a little blend of ganja, you know what I mean? To spice up the thing. We don't grow tobacco. I mean, there is tobacco. We call it Fanta. That is grown, you know, but it is not widely marketed. We also import our tobacco. I think from Canada or some sort, you know, and that is sold widely. That is a big industry. Again, African descendants, we don't control that. You know, the Syrians and they control that. That's another thing. So apart from it being bad for your health, you know, it is a product of the economic imprisonment that is on ganja in Barbados. And you would find that even in the early times, the Rasses would grow their own tobacco and they would wrap the herb. It was ones that didn't smoke paper and thing, but actually wrap the whole spliff in a tobacco leaf, you know, corn leaves, you know. So that is one aspect of it. But it is a serious thing in Barbados, and tobacco Fanta is big business in Barbados, you know.
Tell me something. I mean, at the start you said that a program like this could never air in Barbados, and then I remember in previous conversation with you, you suggested that Barbados perhaps will be the last place in the Caribbean to...
Last place on earth, last place in the universe.
Mind them don't let you in when you return to Barbados.
Got to let me in, man. Need a little rebels in the blood.
So,
they have to let me in, even if they let me in to beat me up. They don't want me to keep on. They want me to come in. So they
all
can,
right.
you know,
So tell me now, what kind of official or even community-based advocacy has there been towards? I think that the whole region should be trying to point fingers at Jamaica where their governments are concerned as to steps taken. What have you all been doing as relates to?
We've had over the years, like everywhere else, you know, pro-marijuana users, Rastafari, coming against the people like the National Drug Council and these kind of people, you know. We've heard from our Attorney General saying that, you know, we can't just be following other people and just because the state's legalizing marijuana and things, because you got to understand who Barbados is. You know, this is Little England. And Barbados, very non-independent, very non-sovereign, but very sovereign within their thinking and their allegiance to the crown, right? So this is why I say within their attitudes, like for us now, Ganja Talk gives us another level. Like I plan to go home and, you know, take the show to a lot of the ministers and see if we can hold a forum and even probably invite you down, you know what I mean, members of UE. Try to see how, what I don't understand is UE is a Caribbean institute. Mona, KFL,
but not yet a Caribbean government.
No, but what I'm saying is that you have a Rastafari research unit here, you have cannabis development, you know what I mean, these kind of things. And nothing close to that at KFL. I don't know about St. Augustine or anything, so you know. So I am hoping that this show, the department, Rastafari Studies unit, you know what I mean, also, you know, could help, you know, when I go home and say, well, yes, you know, the brother has a good point, you know, I mean, this and it's something that needs to be doing.
All right, Simba. Well, give thanks for that, and certainly your help has been great, and we're willing to help in whatever way. We thank you for a wonderful tour, and hopefully we'll see you in not too distant a future. Give thanks.
Give thanks, Annie.
News Talk 93 FM. Heard everywhere.
The Chamber Choir of the Michael University College Las Voces Melodiosas presents its 2016 concert season Lift Every Voice, Friday, April 29 and Saturday, April 30 at the Douglas Arrain Auditorium at the Wilmer's Boys School, National Hero Circle. Showtime 7 p.m. Come and enjoy music of the Western art tradition, Negro spirituals, African, folk, pop and gospel music. Ticket prices $800 for adults and $500 for students. Ticket outlets, Music Mart, the Michael Music Department, and News Talk 93 FM. That's Las Voces Melodiosas in their 2016 concert season Lift Every Voice, Friday, April 29 and Saturday, April 30 at 7 p.m. at the Douglas Arrain Auditorium. Lift Every Voice is a News Talk 93 FM endorsed event. Informative, current, thought-provoking, fresh start, the best start to your day. Weekdays on News Talk 93 FM. Join Sharon Hay Webster, Hugh Dowse and Arnaldo Brown for a fresh perspective and stimulating discussions on the latest local, regional and international issues. Wake up to a fresh start, Mondays to Fridays, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Only on News Talk 93 FM. Fresh start, the best start to your day.
Belly. I'm the Belly Boss, Sanjay, and there she knows who I represent for who? The Fun Factory on air Monday to Friday, 2:30 p.m. on 93 FM. Yeah, hosted by who? Jimmy Q. Tune into Fresh Mondays for the latest music and Reggae Tuesdays for the authentic reggae, Jamaican reggae. Hear your favorite songs in Request Wednesday. Throwback some retro on Rewind Thursdays. Start your weekend right. All day, all night. Party way on Fire Fridays. With the DJ and host Jimmy Q, Monday to Friday, 2:30 p.m. at Sanjay. Jimmy Q style, Belly, think your bad, just Safe, Kiko, Pele, Jimmy Q your style, Belly.
This is News Talk 93 FM, broadcasting from the University of the West Indies, Mona campus.
News Talk 93 FM. Rail News. Rail Talk. Heard everywhere.
Yeah, welcome back to Ganja Talk on News Talk 93 FM. Today our medical ganja segment looks at healing the earth, Kiddos Eye, and his remedy for earth healing.
News Talk 93 FM.
Ganja Fact.
Although small amounts of nicotine may be found in some Old World plants, including belladonna, Nicotiana africana, and nicotine metabolites have been found in human remains and pipes in the Near East and Africa, there is no indication of habitual tobacco use in the ancient world, or on any continent save the Americas.
Ganja Fact.
Encoded memories. Mind penetration. Ganja Talk. On News Talk 93 FM.
Ganja Talk.
You know, a part of the ethic of Rastafari is a Rastafari so that the hungry be fed, the sick be nourished, the shelters be sheltered, the naked be clothed, the aged protected, and the infant cared for. Fundamentally, there's a kind of philanthropic kind of philosophy which guides Rastafari. So the approach towards enterprise was driven by that kind of new mindset, where it's not selfish, self-interest as how we are socialized under Adam Smith and Matthews and ideas. No more enlightened self-interest anchored in the idea of collective security, you know? So self-reliance through collective security. So that is the fundamental ethic and philosophy that drives my own approach towards scholarship and research. You know, and as always, knowledge in your brain and knowledge not shared is almost, in a sense, less worthwhile than if you share it. You know, the essence of knowledge is actually share, and so we can empower people to empower themselves. Yeah. Never ever just Kidusai. Kidusai was a chanter who in Rockers as well as a chanter. You know. Kidusai is a very fascinating bridging. Kidusai have a vision which is called Green for Life, you know. And Green for Life is really how you got to transform the globe through agriculture in a positive and meaningful way. And I'm actually fuse it in music, which I find to be very interesting. Kidusai's biggest project now is really on Moringa and the Moringa wine. You might think he's a leading researcher.
Poverty of material, richness within. Yeah. Minimalist and precautionalist of spirit, they call them savages. Yeah. Conservationalist of nature and against wastefulness. And now they educate themselves about reversal is. So which one is it?
Greetings and one love. Green for Life is a vision that I had in Canada on my birthday back in the 70s. I've been lifted up and shown the world of fresh water, salt water, but the terra firma itself was to be green. So with that vision, understanding that we're living in that electromagnetic universe, electromagnetic world, we ourselves are electromagnetic beings. So on the living theater, which is planet Earth, our purpose in life as divine sparks and godlings is to come into the flesh and walk the 7 stairs out of physical material. This physical starts from the procreation into stomach to feed, maintain, and then material up to the mouth. And then spiritual starts from breath, right? Now, for breath to survive, I would think that terra firma needs good husbandman and husbandwoman who care. Because as I said on the living theater, all the props you get for your show is wood, stone, land, fauna, birds, beasts, animals, etc. The sea, the waters of the world now, which has the fish and the various form of life form, and at the same time, algae provides. So the trees and the water provide us with this source for psyche-physical beings to coexist. And if we're going to be able to coexist, and our future children and grandchildren coexist harmoniously, we need them to become conscious of the creed, the reality of what the creed is and what the benefits we get to humanity. So, Green for Life is just, it has an umbrella because it has no class, no creed. It is sufficient for everyone. Everyone can identify with that, regardless of where you're from, what color, what religion, what sect, etc., etc. From your care for terra firma, then become husbandman and husbandwoman, and let us build some sustainable community development programs through our green vision. Right?
Bless and sanctify, O Most High. Rastafari. Highly meditation with this collie on my brain. Steaming Sensiminia's most potent native strain. Absorption of the essence. fence before you let the chains fall. Cause when you hit that first cough, illusions start to burst off. Composure is the protocol. Steaming on the high grade can sometimes leave you sideways, depending on the content of your heart. Your children will reach the most high, while the wicked and the evil fall apart. When you're taken up into the celestial, sweetest high that you could never find. Vapor soaking in of the holy beam. Tap into the potential of your mind.
Ganja Talk, the radio program that reasons about ganja like no one else does.
10 pound of weed in our chariot. And yes, that's straight from west we are carry that. And when it's sealed up tight, they can't smell that. And yes, that's straight down a town, Ganja Talk, I carry that. I don't know, say this case I'm representing for Ganja Talk, yeah? My gosh.
Yeah. Welcome back to Ganja Talk. Janine reminding us to tap into the potential of your mind. Ganja helping to illuminate your very chakras. We also heard from Kiddos, Kiddosai, speaking of Green for Life, and Knife before that endorsing the work that Kiddosai has been doing with moringa and other plants. This program features the tobacco grabber thing, you know, big now in our streets. People having major issues health-wise based on the absorption of the grabber. More grabber than herb often. University of the West Indies telling us that they have a grabber ward for those people who have become so addicted that their systems have become poisoned. Watch it with the grabber thing is really what we're saying. We continue with medical facts.
An indivisible duality, accountable only to myself. My physical is sacred, not a product for a shelf, not for sale, no need to prep. Except for the protection of my mind and self-respect. Through daily meditation, I find my inspiration and secure my motivation as I introspect. I seek an inner voice to help me make my choices in this western world bombarded by so many noises. As a stranger here, I will have no fear, for in fulfillment of my purpose, my soul rejoices. My soul rejoices. My soul rejoices. My soul rejoices. Ooh, my only challenge is to better know this feminine divine which I aspire to. The lessons learned have brought me to a place of peace. For what I cannot change, I know I must release. So with patience and humility I face the world. God manifested in the flesh, but still a little girl. I will give freely of my time and energy, knowing the Creator will replenish me. As a stranger here, I must never fear, for the source of my potential is infinite. Oh, spending the moments as a sacred gift. The heights I cannot attain provide a constant lift. My spirit recognizes others on their journey's way, representing for the agency in present day. There's a light that shines from a fire deep within my consciousness, a treasure that inspires me to keep my peace. For in the stillness is the key to creation of wealth and happiness from positive vibration. Positive vibration. Positive vibration. Positive vibration.
Ganja Fact.
October 15, 1492. Columbus mentions tobacco. We found a man in a canoe going from Santa Maria to Fernandina. He had with him some dried leaves, which are in high value among them, for a quantity of it was brought to me at San Salvador. Taken from Christopher Columbus's journal.
Ganja Fact.
Much more than just smoking. Illuminating your chakras.
Ganja Talk.
When I come to Pinnacle, 1940, and that day when I came was the 6th of February, 1940. 1940, we come to Pinnacle, the 6th of February. And the bookman checked that day, it was 1,798 and people never finished coming in. Him happy feed the whole people then.
There were a community of followers settling, and each had his or her own plot of land in which you cultivated and so on and sold the crops and so on. They raised goats, they raised cash crops and so forth. But Howell made a point of using ganja as a cash crop, which used to be sold in the marketplace in Kingston. It was at the time, although it was proscribed from 1925, it was never really prosecuted, so that it was possible to find ganja sold openly.
To me see right now, if the government could free ganja, better free. I cook you one team fight, you know, and free ganja. In this part of community, I'd help to build house and everything and buy one vehicle. That's the weed, you know? And the yam and thing, then we live off of Morris. That's the weed me depend on.
Howell amassed a considerable fortune from ganja, and the Rastas became inextricably linked with its cultivation. The early followers grew beards to emulate Haile Selassie and regarded Howell as a prophet.
When you see him, you have to stand up, take off your cap, and bow to him. And a black man, you know. It's a black man, arise and shine, for the light has come.
They used to sing songs to him, just as I always sing a song to Jesus Christ. You know, they sang songs about Howell. You know.
One thing was gang. You ever hear them call it gang? It was gang Gunguru Maharaj. Him is counselor. Him is counselor here. He is Rastafari. He's here one man.
When Howell come here, he come and wake us up to those things. And when he told us about Rastafari and we check history, we say the return Messiah. For Christ means Savior. So Rastafari is our Savior.
Rastas used to be stoned on the streets. They were considered, derelicts and outcasts and so forth at one time, and madmen. Mad.
The imperial government didn't want you to say Rastafari is God or to show the people the truth. Because they may show you a false God and you are show the right God. So he will oppress you and prosecute you for it. You understand? Him say that you is madman.
He live at St. Thomas. Them come all up there. Then do all kind of things to him that is wicked. Have a house up there, when rent, 7-room furnished. And all the members and kings and all both come there. And we say them plan, then government plan to come in and do damage. And tear down and match and beat the people them. And him leave 7-room furnished, and him leave St. Thomas with one suit on him back. And he don't return back there yet. So you see every knee have to bend and every tongue have to confess. You hear me say? So I was living in Kingston and he leave and go to St. Thomas and rent a house. 7-room furnished, may I tell you. 7-room. A man like that and he must 7-room furnished. You must understand what kind of house. Understand the kind of man. And then come down and mash up to the government say. If they can't bring how will I bring your head cup and him blood for it. Oh, blood run. You see it? You not see it yet. Well, then do him, them can't pay for it.
Nothing a nice life, nothing a nice life, nothing a nice life. Nothing a nice life, nothing a nice life, nothing a nice life. Sense me now when me smoking. Them grades are when me smoking. Sense me now when me smoking. From Westmoreland to Amsterdam, I feel big up all farmer man. Nothing a nice like a leftover split tail. First in the morning when the grabber gets stale and the great soaking on the wheel. Next to fresh air are the best thing for inhale. That same old leftover split tail. First in the morning when the grabber gets stale and the great well soaking on wheel. Next to fresh air are the best thing for inhale. Well, only smoke and know we smoke a cough about. I smoke and know when chalice light and what to talk about. I smoke a keep a ganja sense of humor, we know what to laugh about. Split in my jacket and me have it to walk about. We have some good sense in me, now for me plain brain. Feel the herbs running through my main vein. It never hurt me, not do me nothing mentally. The world of the smoke weed eventually. So pass me all leftover split tail. First in the morning when the grabber gets stale and the grains well soaking and cool. Next to fresh air are the best thing for inhale. Yeah, the same old leftover split tail. First in the morning when the grabber gets stale and the grains well soaking and cool. Next to fresh air, attack. Yeah. Pass my ganja with my volcano grabber. Me don't connect the link with Archie and Chopper. Me have to respect all the farmer man we grow it proper. No fertilize the herb, just make it grow up to the top of life. Patience with the weed and watch the croppers try. Farmer man no make them stop you from capitalize. The whole world I go to recess. Right now we need West for real says. Smoke and fly so pass me all leftover split tail. First in the morning when the grabber gets stale and the grains well soaking and cool. Next to fresh air are the best thing for inhale. Yeah, the same old leftover split tail.
Vision, vibration, Ganja Talk.
Welcome back to Ganja Talk. We were just hearing from Miss Gertrude Campbell, one of Leonard Howell's disciples, telling us of her time at Pinnacle and how they destroyed that place, one of the first places that ganja was commercially produced. We heard her telling us that blood going to run and you don't start see it yet, and somewhat prophetic. 40 years, 50 years, 60 years later, her visions of a Jamaica with bloodletting is apparent, much of it related to the same newly emerging ganja industry. We want to move forward with our farming tips. This week we're helping you, those who are seeking to plant this for the first time, to recognize the various different aspects of the cultivation. Don't overfeed your plant. Too much water isn't good. Ganja, we have told you, as much as it likes water, it doesn't like too much, particularly in the harvesting period. We want to talk a little about this, the harvest itself. How do you know when it's ready? And what do you do once it's ready? Well, you want to look out for your buds getting what we would describe as fluffy, thickening as the flower emerges towards the top of the plant. As this happens, and within weeks of it happening, the leaves around it, which we call the drop leaves, tend to ripen. And this is the crucial sign that your bud is close to harvest. What do you do to harvest this? Well, first of all, the stalk has to be cut, and in some instances people harvest the whole plant, sometimes uprooting this, sometimes cutting it low at its base. Important thing is that the buds are removed from the field because we don't want them to get damaged by overexposure to particularly rain and other such moisture damage. Ganja suffers poorly from moist and mold if at the vulnerable times it is exposed to too much dampness. So you want to take it in and start to think about how it is you're going to dry this. Yeah, you have to dry it. You don't just pick it and smoke it or pick it and use it. Well, it can be used green in some instances. For tea, people tend to prefer the greener parts of it. But in smoking, as Midnight tells us, not too dry, not too green. You want cure, which is in between, somewhat firm in the hands, but not moist with life. There are two kinds of harvesting methods. You cut and hang. You cut, and before hanging, you want to trim. And this is described as wet trimming, which is where you remove the leaves which are present at the stage when you've just cut it. So you remove most of those leaves and then send it to hang. You also do another phase of trimming, which is the dry trimming, which is when the plants have dried out somewhat, the leaves are now brittle and come away from the bud far more easily. Interestingly, our industry has emerged in such a way that trimming and preparation of the buds is primarily done by women. I think their hands, perhaps a little more gentle, perhaps a little smaller, can navigate the bud cleaning process much better with less damage to the flower itself. So across the industry, where fingertip gum and the actual pruning of the plant is concerned, women are heavily invested, and this is some kind of division of labor, because there are many men cultivating, even though we have females who also cultivate. So you trim your plants, and usually within a few weeks of harvest, the plant is appropriately dry enough for you to consume. That's it for our tip this week. I hope you found that useful for yourself. We're closing out on Ganja Talk this evening. Thanking those who were a part of this week's production. Simba, we've already hailed for his great work, and we want to wish him well as he pushes out from Jamaica back home in the morning. We want to thank all those who assisted with the production, Trajine, Tony-Ann, Melissa. We also want to thank the archives for their input. We want to thank Leah from afar, consistently contributing in various different ways. We thank you, Nana, Yaya, Belize. We want to thank the brethren who support this production through food, House of Dread. We also want to recognize Myongri and Country Farmhouse for their consistent inputs in keeping the thing alive. Engineer in studio with us, Probo, and of course the key man in bringing this all together in a professional way, Sean Makian from the Archives Unit at University of the West Indies. Ganja Talk, once more, is delighted to bring with you this, our first series, 13 parts, introducing an important subject matter, seeking to illuminate our minds on something which has been concealed for a very long time, which now needs more ventilation. Thank you for listening once more to Ganja Talk, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. I'm Jelani Naya, saying good night.
Sit around the fireplace. Sit down. Come around the fireplace and sip some steamers. Hold this. Steaming gives you a higher meditation. Purify your mind to greater elevation. Coming from above, coming from out of Zion. you strength and good inspiration. It's the book of life with all information. Coming from above, coming from the conquering lion. Light up around the fireplace. Sit around the fireplace. Come around the fireplace and sip some steamers.
News Talk 93 FM. Heard everywhere.